welcome to Concert Pipeline. That's Jens Schippel.
And that is Steve Jones.
And Jens, today on the program, we have a band called Arts Fishing Club. And I know you're wondering, what is Arts Fishing Club? Who's Arts Fishing Club? Well, we had a chance to talk to the singer, who's Christopher from Arts Fishing Club. It's a name that's based on two grandfathers, I believe, both named Art. So it's Arts Fishing Club, and here we are.
Okay, I got questions. Okay, Art? Are we talking about like Art Garfunkel?
Arthur.
Arthur. Oh,
yes.
Of course. Oh my God.
Yes, Art short for Arthur. Yes.
And in terms of clubs, are we talking about Fight Club? I mean, we got something going on that we shouldn't talk about.
Well, it's a fishing club, so we're talking about fishing.
It's got fish in it.
Yes, gotcha. They do a lot of fishing. So we're not going to spoil everything. We'll let Christopher tell us all about it. When we talk to him in just a little bit. But I know there's really more pressing topics right now, and it's what you noticed as soon as we got on Zoom together, and that is my haircut.
Yeah, you know what? I saw your haircut and I was just blown away. The first thing I thought was, holy shit! Like your daughter graduated to like epic hairstylist level of haircutting, right? Because she's done your hair at least once during the.
She's done my hair twice. Yes,
twice.
And over the course of the year, she cut my hair twice, and gave me a fairly decent COVID cut for a 10-year-old. So good enough to get by.
I think we could both agree she probably gave you a better haircut twice than the haircut that I gave myself with my dog, like buzz clippers.
I would say that's probably true. And I would also say that, the girlfriend probably not the best candidate to cut my hair because of how she cut a dog's hair that was less than impressive, let's say. so and I told her, she was trying to talk me into going to see her hairstylist. And I was like, I'm just not comfortable going in a room, and sitting there for 45 minutes with, someone else and other people around and everything, until I've had both COVID shots, right?
Yeah.
Got both COVID shots, waited 3 weeks after that. And then was ready to say, okay, I'll do it, and went in and saw Tracy's hairstylist and got a good cut.
Awesome. Good for you. Okay, a couple things. One, are you feeling any chest pain, hard time breathing, suffocating at all? Good.
So I'm slowly suffocating. It's a 50-year process. So
okay, you know what? You're at the point right now that I'm super excited about. I just got my second COVID shot Saturday. It's now Tuesday. I was down. I don't mean to take away from your awesome haircut story, but I just have to do my little 2 cents. I was down, as you know, for the count for like 2.5 days.
I do know this. Yes.
It was crazy. I had so much muscle fatigue, and I was completely lethargic beyond anything else. Now I'm right-handed, right? So right-hand dominant, like a lot of other people. I, got the shot in the left arm.
Good.
That was a good idea.
It's the right thing to do.
I don't drive stick shift anymore because
they
don't really make those anymore. But I still, stick shift my mouse with my right hand, I work all day.
Shift it into fifth, yep.
Got to shift it, reverse, got to find the neutral. But it was my right arm that hurt the most.
Really?
It was nuts. Yeah, I mean, I had different like muscle aches throughout my body, but it was mostly my right arm. It was great. I couldn't sleep, dude. I couldn't sleep on my left arm, couldn't sleep on my right arm. It didn't matter really what drugs I was taking to kind of, help the situation out. I've been a zombie, dude. Totally zombie. But thank God for Netflix. I was able to binge some incredible shows that have come out of Mexico recently about drug cartels. And
you import your shows? Is that what's going on now?
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I just watch what people tell me to watch, and it's been like this Mexico drug cartel theme. So
do you have HBO?
I did, but I stopped paying for that.
After Game of Thrones, is that when you stopped?
There was another show after that. What was it? I don't remember, but there was some other show that I was watching that wasn't bad. Can't remember. Big Little Lies or something. But I decided I need to keep my subscriptions to a minimum, and I think I had like 4 streaming services. I had signed up for like 4: Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Amazon.
Disney
I gotta
Plus.
Disney Plus. Yeah, well, Disney Plus we get for free for I don't remember why, but we get that through our carrier. But we were actively like paying for like 4 different ones. I guess Amazon doesn't really count because it's part of Prime. But I was like, I only really watch Netflix and every now and then watch Hulu. I shouldn't have to pay for all this rest of the stuff. So I got rid of HBO.
You're not a Lord of the Rings fan, are you? Oh, there you go. Well, that's Disney Plus. Yeah. You're not a Lord of the Rings fan, are you?
A huge Lord of the Rings fan.
So are you going to watch this Amazon Lord of the Rings bullshit?
You better fucking believe it.
Because so our friend Joe is a Lord of the Rings fan, right? And
you know what? I'm not. You know, Joe used to be like, I used to put Joe on a pedestal. I thought Joe was the most awesome guy. And I want you to tell your story, but ever since I heard that, like, the character I hate the most on Star Trek was his favorite character, I'm like, okay, I'm writing this guy off. I'm not going to listen to Joe's.
You're done.
Joe's opinion anymore. Anyway, tell your story.
Well, as big of a fan as he is of Lord of the Rings, he's just as big of a proponent of not having Amazon because of what a horrible human being Jeff Bezos is, right? And so a couple months ago, he canceled his Prime account, which is really freaking hard to do in this day and age, right? It's just hard because everything's so simple. It's right at your fingertips. And there are things you can't get anywhere else, right? Case in point, he started doing, beehive. He has a beehive, like a bee tower thing where he has bees now. And he needed to get a bee suit. And
wait, Joe or Jeff Bezos?
Joe did. It's not Jeff.
Joe. So Joe's got bees in his backyard.
Yeah, as of this past weekend, and he needed a bee suit, and had to.
How did he get this idea? How does anybody get the idea of like, I'm going to get a bunch of bees, I'm going to go make my own honey, and it's going to be cheaper?
At the beginning of the pandemic, he wanted to start make himself as self-sustaining as possible, and so this.
Is he like a sugar addict or what?
No, like, but he just wants to be able to. I mean, he wants to be able to provide it for his family in any way possible, right? So this.
Yeah, but he's a hunter. Why not just have ducks?
I mean, that's not going to last you all year. They're pretty small birds, and
the honey's going to last you all year.
I don't know. Okay, so anyway, he had to cave, and I had to order him a bee suit on Amazon because otherwise it would take 6 weeks. But the point in being that he was willing to start his Amazon subscription again. I'm not going to let him. I'm going to give him my sign-in information so he doesn't have to cave to Bezos because he's morally against that guy. So that's the long story. And I will not be watching said Lord of the Rings show because I am not a super Lord of the Rings fan. So, but I wish you both the most enjoyment in your Lord of the Rings venture.
Dude, oh my God, so many questions. So were you? Okay, Steve, yes. Steve, were you not exposed to Lord of the Rings early in your life? Is that the issue? Or were you like, did you have a PTSD thing around, the Schmeagol guy? What's his name again?
Schmeagol. Yeah,
I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I can't even remember this guy's name. Anyway,
Gollum.
The precious dude. Gollum, thank you.
God damn it, Jens. Like fucking it. Like I just finished telling you what I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan.
Cheers. Oh, and by the way, it's 4:20.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you have partaken today.
I have not. I worked and I.
What is your problem, dude? This is dessert. Okay.
Is it? I see you partaken. Yes, but I'm telling you that it's not a PTSD, but it's a different anagram. It's ADD that I can't fucking stand a 3-hour movie. I don't have the attention span for it. And
what?
Yeah, exactly. And it ain't happening. So I tried. I'm sure I made it through somehow the first one. I don't think I've made it through all 3. And any Hobbit movies or anything else that is in that realm.
Dude, what the fuck? You came over to my house.
Once, I did, and we watched.
And we did a Star Wars marathon. And we were trying to figure out if we watched the original trilogy all at once in one day, or if it was
Or was
like
it all six?
the
Or
first
something?
6 films, and we couldn't figure it out.
I,
But it's not like you fell asleep
no, I was awake.
and you weren't
And
looking out the window for squirrels.
those are shorter. And so the fact, I don't know, maybe the fact that there was a break in between each one and we took 5, I don't know. But with the Lord, I just couldn't, and either Lord of the
It's an
Rings.
epic tale. Yeah.
Yeah, an epic tale where, first one, they walk up to a cliff. Second one, they drop a ring in a volcano. Third one, they walk away, right? Like this is an epic Clerks 2 skit, but piece, by the way, that sums it up in that easy
Right.
piece, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll peek at it and see if it's, but I just have no history of nerdom with Lord of the Rings to latch on to that.
You got to up your nerdom game, dude.
I'll work
You
on
got to up
that.
your nerdom game. Yeah. Well, in case in the rare instance that Joe actually watches this episode, I just want to apologize for everything that I negatively I said towards him. I actually think Joe's a really great guy. I think his opinions on Star Trek are shit. So.
Okay, we'll leave it with that then.
Yeah, and I'm still angry that he didn't go to that Star Wars movie with us like years ago. I don't hold grudges, but
was it Solo or something? It was like he was not going to do it.
Well, I think we saw episode 7 together, and that was it. I don't think he came to the others.
Yeah, you tried to make it a tradition thing. It just didn't latch.
I completely failed on that.
Yeah, he gravitated away from Star Wars, except he'll see it, but he's not going to be super nerdy about the new stuff, and he's okay with Mandalorian. So anyway, this isn't all about Joe. This is about Arts Fishing.
This is about your fucking haircut, and I'm so glad we spent this much time talking about your haircut in such detail. Now, before we wrap it up, I just have a couple questions about your haircut. Did they use any product in your hair? I mean, it looks fucking perfect right now. You're like your whole head is shiny and like ready for, Maxim magazine or whatever those magazines are.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Maxim. That's happening. I have no idea what they use. They cut my hair. They asked me if they wanted me to shampoo it. I said sure. Okay, and then I left. So
did they do your facial hair?
Yes, no, I had a mask on actually. So then that was done. So this is all self-maintained.
Okay. If you don't have any symptoms of anything in the next couple of days, just I'll go to the same place. Yeah, I'm totally paranoid. Just tell me where it was. I'll go. Okay,
we'll refer you. It'll be great. And
awesome.
But right now, let's bring in Christopher from Arts Fishing Club. Here he is.
Yes, Arts Fishing Club. Let's do this.
Christopher, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Steve?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah.
Right on. It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you want to start with this song at the beginning, or you want to do it later? What are you thinking?
Whatever you, maybe later. I feel like later. Let's
okay. But later will work. That sounds great. So
ease on into it.
Yes. So let's go back. Let's go back, shall we?
For sure.
We can.
Do you mind
start.
if I quick grab my headphones?
Yes, go for it.
All right. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I forgot my computer. One of the speakers on my computer is broken, so it sounds real quiet. Here we go. All right, nice. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you way better.
Okay, excellent. So how has this past year been? We're coming on the other side of a crazy year. What has this past year been like for you?
This past year was, I mean, obviously, like just the amount of like earthly and worldly suffering and isolation has been very difficult. And just the overall just insane amounts of, I guess, social and societal pain has been very difficult. For me personally, I haven't, I didn't lose anyone specifically to COVID. And we toured really hard, or we have been touring pretty hard, DIY for like the 3.5 years leading up to last year. And so I got a physical and emotional and mental break from that, and I didn't realize just how much I needed it. So despite like all of the, suffering, and then just the mental kind of break, or the intensity of, wow, when's music coming back, or when's everything coming back, and when can we see people, besides that, the ability to stay home and slow down, and was really important for me, and really, really positive. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Yeah.
And so what was driving the intense touring? Was it, the need for survival? Was it, you being, really determined and hard to, you're like, we just got to get out there? What did that look like?
Yeah, I think it was more, I mean, a little bit of both. It's kind of, once you start getting shows and getting a little bit of opportunity, you just kind of fall into, okay, book the next one, now book the next one, and you just kind of fall into that routine. Um, and you're making that money and kind of depending on that money. Um, as well as it feels like, okay, yeah, we're doing something, we're reaching out, we're meeting people every single show, and sure, they're small right now, but they build slowly. And so I don't know, it's just, I think my natural instinct of, I've always admired live bands. There's so many different types of musicians and bands, that some of them are, you go and you see them live, and it's like, whoa, this is so disappointing compared to what I'm used to listening to, or what I was imagining their show. And then there's vice versa, where you listen to a band and you might be kind of like bored on their music, and then you see them live and it just like hits you in a whole different way. Um, and I think for whatever reason, I've always gravitated towards just the live bands, the acts that like really put that at the forefront, of their musical identity.
Was it always something that you wanted to do, to perform live?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it just, again, I think that just, it was always just the coolest thing to me. Was I'm only now starting to like listen to records, like the art, and appreciate the recording process. Historically, I only wanted to listen to like live shows and live records of bands, and things. There was just something about the rawness, and like the fact that, that in order to get those sounds, every one of the people in the group is like on it right then and there. And there's something about that I really admire, I guess.
Yeah. Was there a particular concert you went to as a kid that made you like be like, okay, I want to follow their footsteps?
I mean, my very first ever concert was Paul Simon and Bob Dylan at and I think that, yeah, I mean, that one was definitely like the first, like, what is this sort of thing. And then I think I saw Eric Clapton as well. And actually, Robert Randolph and the Family Band opened for Eric Clapton that night, and that blew my mind what they did. And they're all, I don't know if you've ever seen them live, but they'll like
I
get
haven't
up.
had a chance.
Oh man, it's just unbelievable. They'll be mid jam, and they'll just start getting up and trading instruments and swapping around, and that level of just proficiency of just like, whoa. And at that point, I didn't know anything about music besides listening and watch, so it just felt like pure magic.
Yeah. And Paul Simon, you're a big fan of Paul Simon. You covered one of his songs in your live stream that you did as well.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm trying to think. Which live
Was
stream
it
exactly?
might have been last year sometime.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a massive Paul Simon fan. He's probably like my favorite songwriter, I would say. Yeah, definitely up there, top 3, if not favorite. So yeah, I just think that he does an unbelievable job of writing. I like kind of philosophical songs, and then also just stupid fun songs, and he does
Yeah.
an unbelievable job, I feel like, of going back and through, like back and forth through songs and material, where it's like one moment you're listening to the sound of silence, yeah, and it's like, whoa, this is powerful. And then the next you're listening to, I don't know, Cecilia or something. I guess both those songs are Simon and Garfunkel, but yeah, I mean, I think he kept doing that throughout his entire catalog. So
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a kid just seeing the video for "You Can Call Me Al," and it was
right,
just hilarious, right?
totally. Him and
Yeah,
Chevy Chase, yeah,
yeah, yeah. Pretty awesome. So, what I mean, was that the sort of music that was on in your household when you were a kid? What did you listen to? What were your parents playing?
yeah. My parents played definitely a lot of Paul Simon, and Simon and Garfunkel. My dad listened to a lot of like Eric Clapton as well. I grew up in Wisconsin, so like just a lot of the classic rock sort of stuff that I think is still being played on the radio all the time up there. And and then my oldest brother is 10 years older than me, so
Mhm.
he was kind of like really in the heat of the 90s. So like a lot of like the 90s grunge, like kind of like Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and then like Dave Matthews Band and Fish and stuff like that. So my whole family grew up like pretty big Dave Matthews Band fans because of my oldest brother. Um, and so I'd seen them a lot at their concerts, and their concerts were another thing where it was like, oh, this is so much different than the energy from their live show is very different than their records. It's really awesome. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned Wisconsin. I wanted to talk to you about that. You're a Packers fan, right?
big time. Tell
Yeah,
me, are
yeah.
you a Packer fan?
Yes. So I've been transferred into one because
Good. We
my
will welcome you with open
my
arms.
my girlfriend is from Wisconsin,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, and Elkhorn,
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
so
Alpine
go ahead.
Valley.
Okay,
Isn't
what
that
is it?
Alpine Valley? Isn't Elkhorn
It's
right next to?
that's That sounds about right. No,
Okay.
I can't hold my own in a way. I don't know,
Right.
but I went back for the first time December before COVID, right?
Okay.
That's how we transfer the time now, right? Is
Right.
but
Right.
but went back there, met the family, and I have a friend who lives in Wisconsin also has season tickets and went to the Packers and Bears game. Um,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, it was
What'd you think? So you
uh,
went to Lambeau?
yeah, yeah. It was really awesome. It was very cold. I don't know how many layers I had on, but it wasn't
Good.
enough. It
Good.
was like,
That's the
yeah,
way it's supposed to be.
yeah, no, but it was amazing. It was a really cool experience, and yeah. You've been to Lambeau as well?
Oh yeah. So I'm from Appleton, which is, I mean, I grew up 25 minutes away from Lambeau, so um, all it's all the season ticket holders, or it's all like it's basically the local community that all has tickets. So just about anyone that if they don't own them, it's like their aunt or uncle has tickets. So it's yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Grew up getting to, I'd usually go to like maybe one game a year, be able to go to one. So it's always really awesome.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. So let's talk about Arts Fishing Club. How did the band get together? Tell me about the current iteration of the band as well.
Yeah, totally. So we all met here in Nashville, um, from all over the place, and it was kind of like a situation where I had recorded an EP under the name Arts Fishing Club with the vision of putting together, a full band, but just didn't really know where to start finding people. So recorded a couple songs, and then slowly but surely we would book these tours, just like shows. Someone gave me the advice of uh, if you book it, they will come. Just like the what's that movie?
Yeah, Field of Dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, Field of Dreams, right? Yeah, exactly. And he kind of gave me that advice in terms of, hey, if you book shows, like they're going to be play, and then you just offer it up, players will want to play shows. So that was kind of, I took that advice and I would just start booking shows. And living in a place like Nashville, you never run out of options for meeting different players. And so those early first kind of year, 2 years was a lot of just booking whatever shows I could find, and then scrambling. I think we played with 20 to 25 drummers in the first. Yeah, it was like, I mean, it was too much. It was so much that every single run we would have to, re-rehearse and relearn everything. But looking back on that, it's so valuable because now we just have kind of an arsenal of different musicians that have at one point kind of, been in the band a little bit and played some songs. And then as certain players, it really helped to it's kind of like dating, where you have to know, you have to kind of go through some relationships to all of a sudden be like, this is the one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what slowly but surely started happening with everyone in the band. So yeah, now we're just it's the group has really solidified in the past 2 years, I'd say.
Yeah. I want to go back, and I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but was it it was you that in 2015 walked 1,600 miles on a tour, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and played over 60 shows and everything. I mean, I've talked to one other musician who did that same sort of thing, like maybe even across the country or something. But
Was it Riley Moore?
yes.
So I did it with Riley.
Okay. So I was like, that's too much of a coincidence, but I didn't see your names connected in anyway. So
yeah. No, so Riley and I, and then two other people did it together. And the group was called the Walking Guys. And we had met, another one of our buddies had kind of come up with the idea, and we ran with it. And that was that was both Riley and my first ever tour. And yeah, it was an incredible adventure. But I think or not, I know for me, it was also just kind of like a declaration to myself of, hey, if I'm willing to do this, I think with most artists, and especially in kind of today's society, there's this idea, most people don't really encourage going after an art form as your career. And I think I grew up with a lot of self-doubt around that, not because anyone was overtly trying to tear me down, but just because that can kind of be the climate sometimes. And so this tour was really a kind of a declaration to myself of, hey, look, if I'm willing to walk across the country to play music, you're probably pretty serious about it. And then after it, once I felt like, man, I could keep going, I could keep doing this, because getting to play every day and I'm loving it. It was very much like okay, yeah, no, you can handle the ups and downs and the inconsistency of the musician life if this is, what you're loving to do. So
what was the most challenging part for you of that whole experience? What did you work through?
It's a great question. Um, Honestly, for me, I was like pretty elated the almost the entire time. Like I mean, we definitely had difficult days. There's no question about that. And exhausting days and scary nights, sleeping in parks and sleeping behind places illegally. But overall, it didn't. The thing that I was kind of most upset about was I didn't feel like I was practicing as much as I would have liked to, and been able to kind of have a routine in that sort of way, which is funny now because as I think about the touring, something that I've learned stopping touring again, it's like, whoa, this past year I've been starting to really dive into the craft again and like the practicing and the learning aspect. That tour, you have to be extra extra disciplined to like to be able to do that while on tour, because just so much time is caught up in travel.
Yeah, yeah. And so, what did you learn about yourself through that experience? Because I mean, it's such a unique experience that almost no one has done, right? So,
Yeah. There's a couple different things that I learned that it how do I say this exactly? It it sort of shocked me how safe we felt overall the entire time. And I think that I don't even know that I necessarily really realized it right then and there, but in more and more in years after, just kind of reflecting on it, um, the fact that we were like four white dudes instead of women or people of color, like we got stopped by the cops like 5 or 6 times, and like like middle of the night in rural Georgia, and gave us a little bit of trouble, but then let us move right on. I don't know, like it's hard to speculate exactly, but between um, just everything that's gone on, it's definitely made me look back and be like, wow, people were out of 130 nights we stay or out on the road. Strangers took us in like 119, and
wow.
so yeah, yeah, I think it was 119. So we only slept outside like 15 to 20 nights. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It was pretty wild because we were putting this intense challenge in front of us. And in some ways, it, we like, were still just being taken care of in a very amazing way, which is great. And I'm not trying to complain about that at all. It was very uplifting. But I don't know that that is quite as accessible to everyone. Yeah, so that's definitely something that I've been reflecting on a little bit more lately.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the show EP that you have coming out. Tell me about the process for creating this new EP and kind of what you wanted to bring into it.
Yeah. So as I kind of said earlier on, recording has been a big time learning experience for me. It's never something that I thought about or really, I guess, appreciated the art form of. And so as we've been recording our music over the past 4 5 years, it's definitely been a lot of, man, this is not what what I want. But not having those skills. I mean, it's like a whole completely other set of skills to be able to take a song that you write on acoustic guitar and then record it and arrange it and have all those elements and mix it so that it sounds and brings like the full vision to light is a completely other set of skills that I just haven't had. And so slowly but surely we've been developing that skill set. And this time around we worked with a producer, Ken Coomer, who he was a founding member of Wilco, and then a mixing engineer, Ryan Hewitt, who's done a bunch of records with tons of records with Rick Rubin, even like the Ava Brothers and Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff. And just drawing on their kind of seasoned expertise to make sure that we got really solid drum sounds and just live feel, but then to add more color to it and build it out that makes it hopefully a little bit more modern than just the the old records, the classic rock records that you hear are pretty much just a band in a room with a couple overdubs. And so I think our sound is taking that and then trying to kind of modernize it a little bit more and more. And as we're diving in to this process, that was our goal with this EP, and we're even pushing our sound further with the stuff that we're working on now. So,
yeah. And how did you get set up with those guys for this album? How did you select them?
Nashville. So Ken's in Nashville, and our manager is just good buddies with Ken, so he suggested him. And then for Ryan, I just Googled mixing engineer Nashville, and he was the first guy that popped up. And when I looked at his bio and credits, I was like, holy shit, this is so much of my favorite music that he's directly worked on. And so I messaged him, and he said, send me the music, and he hit me. And so I was scared, and I did, and I sent him some demos, and he hit us back that he wanted to work with us. So that was really awesome. And working with both of them was really a cool process to get to experience, like, I don't know, just two sets of very seasoned, what's the word that I'm looking for there, lots of expertise.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And before COVID hit, you and the band went in and recorded a bunch of videos. I mean, like the timing, I think, was really good, right? The Long Lake sessions, and
yeah,
you were able to do that and then kind of have some content for moving forward, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so we had done those up in Wisconsin, actually. And yeah, we just did kind of like 3 live videos in a cabin up in Wisconsin, just to exactly kind of have some content. And then we released it as an EP, because why not? And I think we also then released a live show that we played in Nashville in probably 2018 that we had recorded live from the back corner. So in the past year, it's pretty much just been kind of live records, live EPs, sorts of stuff.
It's good because we're missing a lot of the live. So
yeah, exactly.
No complaints there for sure. You opened for, I think, Lovely the band, is that right?
Yeah.
And that was your biggest show.
That was our biggest show today. Yeah, absolutely. It was
tell me about that experience. Yeah.
It was really incredible. We're used to playing, as I said, those DIY tours, 2-3 years of showing up to empty rooms, and having to convert the 5 to 50 people that just happened to accidentally be in the bar or whatever the place was into wanting to pay attention and wanting to listen. And so that takes a lot of emotional work. And sometimes there's just nights where that's not going to happen because of the way that the room is set up. So showing up to this gig and having, you know, whatever it was, I think it was 900, you know, college freshmen pressed up against the stage, ready to be there, ready to listen, and then to have them immediately respond to the music. So, you know, it was definitely, as we're walking up, knowing that, okay, none of these people know us at all. How is this going to go? There was a moment of, this is really going to I guess tell us like if we belong here or not. And they really dug it and dove right on in, and which just amplified us. And we had decided that night to play a brand new song, one that we had never played and never really rehearsed. We'd only rehearsed a little while back. And it kind of has I don't know if a drop is the right word, but it's very slow and kind of ethereal in the beginning. And then it has a part where it really hits. And when it hit, there was like kind of like this electricity, like this gasp in the crowd that sent like that was my single cool most impactful moment of ever playing a show live, where it really felt like, whoa, that like blew up, and it was a musical moment that yeah, I don't know, it was pretty indescribable. So that whole show was an incredible experience. And then hopping off that stage, again, just, it was another validating thing of, okay, look, just because we've played a lot of empty shows, like, no, if we can get an audience there, they're going to dig it. So it definitely helped, not to say that we were doubting it at all, but it was a test, and it fully gave us like the confidence to then start diving in a way of, hey, no, we have something here. We just need to check the right boxes and you know, record our music. I think we have over 3 hours of original music, and only a small portion of it is recorded because I've got some weird anti-recording, you know, like it's either fear or I don't know what it is exactly. But that show definitely started getting the wheels turning a bit of, okay, hey, we need to figure out how to get doing more of these shows.
Yeah.
And we've got some coming up now.
You do? Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
things are starting to open up and look okay in Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville, to be honest, has been pretty open since like September. Relatively speaking, I think, to the rest of the country. And for better or for worse, I don't know if I'll really comment on that, but it has been a fairly open, like everyone's wearing masks, but besides that, like, no, like it's pretty much been open since September, just like wear a mask. And, you know, bars have been at half capacity, but you know, it's a bar. So
It's a bar.
yeah, when you know, people are drinking all night at half capacity, I don't think anyone's exactly being too safe, but right now shows are starting to really come back, it seems like. So we hadn't played, I think we played one live show in the past year, and then in 2 weeks ago, we've got 7 within the next month. So yeah, it went from nothing, then all of a sudden 2 weeks ago it was like boom, 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 emails just started flying off. And I think it's just because the vaccines, people are able to get vaccinated, and everyone's just ripping and ready to get back to doing things.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for live shows to come back. So
Nice, yeah.
We're on the verge of it out here. I'm in the Bay Area, California.
Okay.
So
Is it? I mean, from everything that I've heard, California is like strict, right? Like very, very shut down.
I mean, it's not shut down, but it is very strict. There are hard guidelines with rules and everything. But I see things opening back up, right? I'm going to a minor league A's versus Giants game this weekend, which will be kind of the first thing with big group of people that I've been to and over here. So
Nice.
So it's good to feel that sense of normalcy. It's coming back around and things, and everybody's going to be able to get their shots in the next couple of weeks, right? So,
Right.
so things are taking a big turn, and hopefully the new other variants. I mean, that's a whole other thing, but hopefully that doesn't start this all over again.
Right. Right.
So, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about live shows fully yet, right? Like, I mean, it depends on the capacity, like it, where it is. I don't want to sit right next to people,
Right.
on top of people in a small theater or anything, but an outdoor show I could do.
Yeah, I think that's kind of hopefully the kind of the game plan is just like, okay, outdoor, like summertime. I personally, I don't know, I just from everything that I know, which is not a whole lot, but I feel very comfortable being outdoors with people, like,
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that that's going to be a heavy focus, and then if they are indoor, it's just separated and kind of seated.
Yeah. So as we went in, I just want to talk a little bit about your your music itself and kind of where the writing comes from. I know Devil on My Shoulder is a very personal kind of venture for you, right? You really you wanted to be 100% honest with yourself, and you said take responsibilities for the consequences of your actions, right? So
Yeah.
Tell me about that and kind of how you incorporate that into your music.
Yeah. For me, writing and songwriting in particular, like, it is it's the way that I'm most honest with myself, I guess, and most like true. Like if I'm writing a lyric and it isn't truthful, I guess, it sucks. I don't like it, So when I'm writing, it's like this weird self-evaluation process a little bit, and kind of like digging down, and which generally is spawned by like an emotion. So if I'm in an emotional state, that's usually where the song will kind of lead me. And then as I'm writing, it becomes this sort of, okay, this exploration. Devil on My Shoulder, yeah, it was just written after a time where I'd been young and kind of, pretty promiscuous, and just like, just not being, just really leaning into the party life, I guess. And that whole attitude, or whatever you want to call it, just stage of life that I was in, was just more and more leaving me just feeling really empty, and kind of numbed out. And so, yeah, I was writing that song in a writing room, and I had looked up, and it was dark outside, and how when it's dark outside and you're indoors and you look out a window, like you get that weird half reflection. Yeah, but it's not like a mirror straight up where, because you see outdoor, but it's just like that weird half reflection. And I looked up and seen that, and this idea came into my head of like, oh wow, it's kind of like, it's like my soul is looking back at me, or like this ghost is looking back at me. And so Devil on My Shoulder is really just this, it's the idea is like a conversation with a ghost or my soul, like a back and forth conversation. And the lyrics are, yeah, it's literally a conversation with my soul. And it's the me part is trying to blame my soul for screwing it up and not teaching me how to love, not teaching me how to do all the, so the immature self was trying to cast away blame, and the soul is just like, nah, dude, like this is on you, like you chose it, like this is you. And yeah, so that's kind of what that song's about.
Yeah. You think you've handled a lot of that stuff, or it's just a constant process though?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a constant process. Definitely, kind of got out of the hump or the situation that I was in for a while. But it's all, yeah, it's all relative, and there's ups and downs, and go back into it to some degree, or like whatever it is, or just the goalposts kind of change. And so, something that I did when I was younger that didn't have any problems doing or whatever, now it's like, oh man, I look back at it, I'm like, oh, that's not who I want to be anymore. So
Yeah.
there's always growth. It's always a process.
Yeah. I like it. So thanks for taking the time on that. I know you said you'd play a song as well. What do you want to play for us?
Do you have any requests yourself, or do you want to hear something off the new record, or what?
I think we should play something off the new record, right?
Okay, sure. Here,
Yeah.
let me quick grab my guitar.
Sure.
See, does music and singing, hello, does that sound okay in these?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We can do do you want a serious or a happy one?
Let's make it happy. Come on, let's end on a
Cool.
positive happiness.
I love it. All right, so this one's called Horizon Eyes, and this is a song about so I wrote this one. We had driven through the night back from Wisconsin while on tour to drop our guitarist off at 6 a.m. so he could make bus call to hop in for another band to drive straight to New York. So we drove 11 hours through the night, and then he got out and hopped on another car in another van to drive 16 hours up to New York. So it's just
Wow.
like, yeah. And I was exhausted just from driving through the night. And so the song is, it's just a reflection on kind of the absurdity of the tour and musician lifestyle, but also knowing that like we're never going to stop. So it's kind of awesome. Driving through the night, these highway signs, caffeine, headlights, the ghosts are calling, they're saying to slow down, but they don't know us at all. It's paranoia, fear rolling off their tongues, cause they're afraid of what they've never done, but we don't hear them, not a word. We lift our heads and smile. We say, hey, now monsters, get the hell out of here. You don't belong, we don't want you. We got a heart beating in our chest to resonate, so we'll never, never rest. All these suits with all their golden base, these lawyers, teachers, parents trying to get us laced. They think they know just who we should be, but they know nothing at all. So we say, hey, now monsters, get the hell out of here. You don't belong, we don't want you. We got a heart beating in our chest to resonate, no, we'll never, never. Oh, baby, we know who we are. We know it's crazy, but we will never stop. We got a heart beating in our chest to resonate, so we'll never, never rest. say, hey, now monsters, get the hell out of here. You don't belong, we don't want you. We got a heartbeat beating in our chest to recognize, no, we'll never, never. Oh, oh, baby, we know who we are. We know it's crazy, but we will never stop. We got a heartbeat beating in our chest to recognize, no, we'll never, never rest. There you go.
Boom. I love it.
Yeah, that one's called Horizon Eyes. So, right on.
I dig it. Really fun. And I know you're excited for the new EP to come out here in just a couple of weeks. So
Yeah, stoked about it. So, thank you so much for having me on, man. Really appreciate it.
hey, thank you for taking the time. And I mean, do you know how far your tour is going to get you, when you're going to be getting on the road?
Yes. Well, so this month we've got a handful of shows. We're actually coming out to Tahoe, which is California. But that's for a private wedding. But that's next week. So we're,
Wow.
yeah. Or Reno, I guess. Yeah, I don't think the wedding can be in California because of COVID restrictions and stuff. But yeah, everyone that's vaxxed up is going. So yeah, we're hitting shows this month, and hopefully more are going to be coming during the summer. Nothing's really announced quite yet because still it's kind of a day by day, week by week sort of situation, but it seems life is coming back. So
Yeah. Well, hopefully you're able to get out to the Bay Area sometime and be able to catch you, because it'd be an awesome live show. So
yeah, man, would love to meet you and would love to have you out for a night.
absolutely. All right. Well, Christopher, thank you for taking the time. Have an awesome rest of your day, and continue to be safe and get out there and play some shows.
Will do. Appreciate it, Steve.
That was the interview with Arts Fishing Club here on Concert Pipeline. And Jens, that takes us to the final segment on the program. What is it?
Well, let me tell you, Steve, it is time for us to update everyone on what's going on in the world of music. It is our segment that has everything to do with music news.
All right, we each have a couple of stories to share, what's going on in the world. As Jens said, my first story, Jens, has to do with James Hetfield from Metallica.
Yes.
Yes, James Hetfield, one of the most badass rockers out there, right?
He is the most badass, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, he had a wholesome appearance, Jens, at a Little Kids Rock virtual benefit. And
when you say wholesome, was he like wearing the house dress in like this country house in the South?
I'm gonna guess probably not. But I will tell you that, you know, there was a benefit, and he was there to participate, right? And he really stressed the importance of music education. So he's known for his work in the music charity, having previously performed with children who have benefited from their work at Little Kids Rockin' the Bay benefit in 2013. So he said, music has saved my life, he told them. And he said, it's been a passion of mine since the early times. Music has been an outlet for me. It has been a connection. It has been a best friend for me my whole life. And he added, having an option for music at schools. I'm an advocate for having an opportunity and a place for people to at least explore that. And if they find it helpful, that's great. And it could turn out to be a wonderful career. I'm here as an example of how music has saved lives. Yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. Okay,
awesome.
Maybe he didn't say that last part, but
yeah, I was gonna say, I think that was a little embellished, or what's the other word? A little dramatized.
Exaggerated. Yeah.
Exaggerated, yeah. Right.
But there is a collaboration between Metallica and Elton John that appears to be on the horizon.
How was that a collaboration?
I don't know. We'll see. But Elton John revealed that last month he's doing something with the band, although there's not anything really known about it yet. So
Let me guess, they're going to do Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, but it's going to be like in the Metallica style of music.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I got nothing. No.
Okay. I got
story,
some
Jens.
news. Yes.
What you got?
So let's talk about a tribute event. So we got planned DMX gig being turned into tribute event for the late rapper. This takes place next month.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a gig where DMX was due to perform in a month. It's being turned into a tribute event because he fucking passed away, man.
You did, I know. Yeah, it sucks.
So fucking sucky, dude. Life is so precious, man. Okay. So hip hop icon passed away, was it April 9th or so, after being hospitalized for a heart attack as a result of a reported overdose. He remained in intensive care and life support until his death. Yeah, that was April 9th. He was 50.
Yeah,
He was 50 years old.
And so there's going to be a tribute.
Yeah, let's see. The gig, which DMX was scheduled to perform in Texas on the 29th of May, it's a little over a month from now, will now be turned into a memorial show. So the whole thing is going to be this big memorial show, specifically in his honor. The owner of the Wild Catter Saloon in Caddy, is it called Wild Catter because it's Caddy?
It could be. I don't know.
Like if it was called Chicago, would it be Wild Chicago?
I don't know. You're going very deep on this saloon.
I don't know. I'm thinking too much into this. Anyway, sorry, TMZ. So, let's see. So, all right. So the event will still feature the support acts due to perform. So that's going to be Tone Royale, Cools Black, and Sin City, as well as prominent headliner who they are trying to organize.
Who are they going to get, Jens? Who are they going to get to headline this thing?
I don't know. I'm going to get to that. I mean, I do know, but I'm going to get to that. But the first thing I was thinking was, how cool would it be if they could get their shit together so fucking quickly and make this like one of those Michael Jackson hologram.
You want a hologram. Things. You want a hologram.
I want a hologram. Like. I want this show to be in DMX's image. Like it should be the way he wanted it to be at that venue. He's passed away. That sucks. But what a tribute, right?
Yeah, they should have been working on that all along, really. I mean,
yeah, they should work on that with everyone, like years before they die. Yeah, just so they're ready for instances like this. But anyway, we've talked about hologram stuff before, and I've been impressed with how far the technology has come, for actually reproducing a person as a hologram on stage. Mm-hmm. Not so much the set list or any of that stuff, but I mean, it's pretty awesome. If you guys ever seen that, it's pretty cool. Anyway, sorry, I'm so like fucking off course. So TMZ reports names in the running in the event that there's no hologram. Should be Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg, or Trey Truth, although no artist has yet been confirmed for the event. So we shall see what happens. He's also going to be honored in a public memorial in Brooklyn this weekend. The late rapper's manager confirmed.
Okay. Well, hopefully that comes together well, and it's a good to them to make use of the event still and honor DMX. So
I know. I mean, suicide is a horrible thing. I mean, I'm not assuming that that's.
I mean, it wasn't.
I know.
It wasn't
suicide. But there are a lot of folks that do OD because of that. you know, that it's intentional. I have no idea if that's you know, the issue with this guy, but
He had cancer.
he did.
He got, yeah. Yeah. So it
You
was,
know, I don't blame him. If that's what, I mean, I'm not gonna assume anything again, but if he intentionally decided to go that route, it totally makes sense. You know, I mean, I've seen my mom, she died of cancer. It was a horrible experience. She'd starved to death. It was super painful. And if that ever happened to me, I wouldn't want to live through that, dude.
yeah, cancer is a bitch. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible, dude.
Well,
Anyway, our thoughts are with you, man.
Yeah, let's lighten things up a little bit to wind this out. I have one more story, Jens, and you know who it's about.
Dave Grohl.
That's right. On it. You're on it, Jens. So you did mention earlier that we're recording this on 420. The Foo Fighters have marked 420 with a trippy animated video for their song Chasing Birds. And so this video sees the Foos taking an increasingly surreal trip through the desert. And I'm going to, for those that are watching, I'm going to share a picture of
nice.
And so the kaleidoscopic visuals for the Medicine at Midnight track transports an entirely animated version of the Foos to a barren desert where they're faced with a fruitless quest to find hydration. But things soon take a turn as they encounter a series of increasingly surreal scenarios, including a monster that swallows the band whole and forces them to endure a trip through its labyrinth-like insides. Again, you're loving this.
I love this. The middle guy looks like Jay Leno.
He kind of does.
Doesn't he?
I'm just playing with the Foos. What do you want? I'm just playing with the Foos. That's cool. It's cool.
I'm gonna go to my garage, drive some cars around, man. Okay.
Yeah. Eagle-eyed fans have also pointed out that the clip contains a number of references to past videos, including the similarly trippy visuals of Everlong, and you can find that video online, of course. Jens, that's our show for today. Thank you to Arts Fishing Club for being on the program.
Definitely.
Yes. Next week, we have an artist named Jess Robbins, and she's in a band called Courses. So you'll be hearing that next week.
Corsets?
Courses. Excuse me,
courses.
One course.
Dude, Steve, you're confusing me, man. Get it right.
Of course I am. Oh my gosh. Yes.
You're getting me off course. Anyway, thank you for your Dave Grohl stories. Thank you for Art and his band of fishers. And for all of us here, the Concert Pipeline, that is Steve Jones.
And that is Jen Schippel.
We'll see you next time.